Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Security Solutions TV. Video technology is changing rapidly, and what was once seen primarily as a security tool is now becoming a valuable source of data, insight, and operational intelligence for organizations across many sectors. To help unpack that shift, I'm joined by Morten Illum, Chief Revenue Officer at Milestone Systems, and Jordan Cullis, Director of Sales for Asia Pacific. Together, they both bring a global and regional perspective on how Milestone is responding to the growing role of AI, cloud, and analytics in video technology. Today, we'll be talking about how Milestone's strategy is evolving through 2026, how solutions such as Arcules and BriefCam are helping customers work smarter, and how organizations across ANZ are beginning to move from AI experimentation to real-world deployment. We'll also touch on the importance of trusted data, the strength of Milestone's partner ecosystem, and the emerging use cases driving demand well beyond traditional security. Morten, Jordan, it's a pleasure to have you with us, and welcome to the program.
Now, should be here, John.
Morten, I am going to throw to you for the first question here. Milestone has positioned itself as a leader in data-driven video technology. From a global strategy perspective, how is that vision evolving through 2026, particularly as AI becomes central to security and operations?
Well, first, I fully agree that it is becoming central, and we are hearing that from customers and partners across the globe. I just had the pleasure of being together with Australian partners and distributors and customers at the MXD Milestone Experience Days in Port Douglas. And I heard the same here, right? So it is really a uniform statement. And I would call it connecting the dots, right? So what is happening is that there is a lot of different tools and things that are happening, and the orchestration of that, the complexity of that, simplifying the operational effort so that you can get real value is really what we're targeting in 2026. We're going to make it easier to use, easier to operate, and easier to get the right outcomes out of it. And that is what is our focus right now. It's really not only doubling down on the innovation of different components, but actually bringing it together so that the operator can move from a reactive to proactive operation and become a business center instead of a cost center.
Okay, so then, Jordan, with that shift sort of towards more of a data-driven activity and that operational to reactive kind or proactive kind of stuff, how is that translating into customer priorities here in the ANZ region?
So, when we look historically, security has been a need, a compliance issue. It has been an area that we know we need to continually invest in, but those costs obviously really have an impact on business. The way it's beginning to operationalize in the early stages is really with the simple things. It's right. Little things like down to queue management, stock on shelves, people walking the right direction in ticketing booths, those simple type of applications that we're currently seeing. And we have been seeing evolve, over the past year to 2 years to become more mainstream. I think the area that we Milestone are really looking forward to is rather than looking, I guess, back to those operational small efficiency improvements, we're looking more towards the future to building and implementing technology that not just changes those individual tasks, but more holistic ecosystems. And that is really probably the message that we're going to talk a little bit about today, is the transition from what we currently see in the market in capabilities that are, small wins, and they are small improvements around operational efficiencies, towards big wins that is going to really change the way that video surveillance solutions in general are being used, and how the operators of those are going to benefit from them moving forward.
Okay. Well, in that transition sort of vein then, Morten, I'll come back to you. Security systems are no longer just about monitoring. They're becoming operational intelligence platforms. Actually, Jordan, you can answer this. What are you seeing from customers as they move from reactive security to operational intelligence?
Uh, you're asking all the big ones today, but the short answer is this. We've worked together for a long time in and around the media, and we've had a lot of conversations around data ownership. We've had a lot of conversations around, what is ethically sourced data? What is data we can trust? And our customers, there's millions of them, and they are collecting and collating data sources today for different retention periods, which they own. They already own all of this information. The market change and shift in mentality is really about leveraging investments that they've already made great choices. They've bought great brands, some of our terrific technology partnerships that are providing really secure environments to make sure nothing's tampered with. We know all of this information exists within their Milestone ecosystem today. And the real request and push from them is learning how to do more with it. And the really exciting thing, Morten referenced MXD that we held in Port Douglas last week. And the really exciting thing that we got to share was the transition that Milestone is going through that is very much developing and evolving the technology stack and the capabilities in transforming that information into usable information, visually represented information, or information that has insights to act upon. And these are the big gaps that we've felt for a really, really long time. We've had this information, we've had great analytic tools developed by technology partnerships, but they're solving individual problems and not giving a broad picture of everything going on within a domain or an ecosystem.
Okay, so Morten, I'm just going to jump back across to you here, because as we talk about that move by customers from reactive security to operational intelligence, how central is that shift to Milestone's broader growth strategy?
It's fundamental, I would say, obviously, because we want to support our customers in that journey. Our partners being enabled to help our customers with that journey, and our distributors to help us manage all of that together with us, right? So not only do we see a true value in the way we operate, but we also see a responsibility of actually being part of driving that and being, a 20-year-old company with a lot of solid foundation in video security and video technology. I think we are at the right spot to actually take a lead, take responsibility in that. And so we are putting it center in everything we do. The transformation is not only about transforming customers, it's also about transforming Milestone so that we can be ready for what's ahead of us. And I am very proud of what we have achieved until now, and I'm extremely grateful for the direction we are heading, because I believe we are on the right track to do exactly that. Our customers want to move from, that proactive to data intelligence, reactive to proactive, and using AI to support them to get real outcomes. Not just being in operations where you review the video if something happened, but actually being able to prevent things happening, utilizing AI to create business opportunities, to create, information that helps the company for a better and stronger revenue stream, whether you are in retail or in airport or in public safety in cities around the world. This is something that I personally take great pride in, but also that our customers can actually use. It's not just words, right? It's actually connecting the dots a little bit, and we're not just saying it, we're actually delivering it in 2026. And I think really we can set our customers into the next generation of video surveillance and start introducing these tools to real customer outcomes. And we should do that in an open mind, open platform, but in a ethically sourced data lake, right? So we really want to do things ethically, but we also want to use the power of our partners to really get the real outcomes for our customers and for society, to be honest.
Again, sticking with you for a second, Morten, With the increasing demand for cloud and hybrid deployments, where does Arcules sit strategically within the Milestone portfolio?
Extremely high, and one of my personal priorities is to fuel that growth, because we see the market is there and we believe we have a fantastic foundation with the Arcules portfolio. We really see a big need right now, or a big request from our customers to look at it probably more from a hybrid perspective, right? The vision of you can start on-prem and you can move to the cloud through a hybrid interface, or you can start in the cloud and you want to move back to more server-based analytics on-prem. The customer choice for us is extremely important. It's not about only cloud or only on-prem. We actually believe that there is a very big value of having a command center or a HQ with a Expertech platform, and then with a proper deep integrated plugin connecting all the local and remote sites on a hybrid platform with Arcules, so that you have one seamless user interface. Your alarms, the way you manage it is the same. And I think that is what we are really going to deliver in 2026. And for me, this is a foundational success or part of the success criteria for Milestone as a whole. So yes, it has a very high weight in my daily job.
Yeah. We saw exactly a fantastic example of what you're talking about with what Parramatta City Council are doing up there at the moment. But Jordan, I wanted to ask you in that vein, what are you seeing in ANZ when it comes to cloud and hybrid adoption?
It's a huge space today. So very much in line with what Morten's saying. We're seeing obviously a lot of cloud interest. We're seeing a lot of cloud adoption. We've got to be a little bit careful about when we talk about versions of cloud. The majority of what gets deployed today, whether it's with us or somebody else, is in fact hybrid cloud. We're still seeing a lot of gateways sitting at the edge, a lot of storage on camera. We're still seeing a lot of those things, but the management of the ecosystem is definitely something there's a big push towards, and we're seeing that happen locally as well. A big part of the reason for that is infrastructure capabilities that we have in country is really still a little bit limiting. We at Milestone are building, true flexibility at the moment. So you may or may not have seen, and I know there's a lot going on at ISC West around this, but we obviously have our XProtect portfolio, which is currently modernizing. And there's a lot of announcements over in ISC about this week. Alongside that, we have the Arcules portfolio that many of you and obviously the viewers of this will also be familiar with. But we are also expanding quite heavily the environment around our direct-to-cloud, true cloud capability with more camera vendors, more technology partnerships that are able to deliver that directly into the market in a true cloud type of way. And obviously, it's really important that we have that conversation with customers to understand the infrastructure and the value that will be brought to them with each of these variations. But as per Morten, what we are seeing quite a lot of today is still the need for an overarching VMS in XProtect to sit above everything and bring all of these cloud environments together in a very hybrid way to give you that true power of VMS, that analytic capability off to the side, that AI capability that we're now beginning to see build directly into Milestone. These are the things that are, still a little bit beyond some of these true cloud environments, and they're very limited in scale when we try and be all things to all people. So this conglomerate of capabilities really gives flexibility to our customer, and most importantly, gives a great chain of custody around everything that they're doing in their security environments and also in their data-driven environments.
Yeah. Well, I'll stick with you, Jordan, because while we're discussing XProtect and VMS systems, I mean, video review has traditionally been time consuming. So in your view, in practical terms, how is BriefCam changing investigations for security teams?
Yeah. We have many years of working prior to the acquisition of BriefCam, working primarily with technology partnerships. And what we were very much finding in a lot of large scale deployments when camera counts are in the thousands is we were encountering challenges around attentiveness, encountering challenges around capability of acting. And obviously it simply becomes purely review because it's almost borderline luck that you catch something in the moment that it's happening when the camera counts get high enough. Using technologies like BriefCam and having the capability of blending them so seamlessly directly with XProtect means that we have customer interfaces which are very uniform. We can then limit visibility requirement on a day-to-day basis. And we can, more importantly, do a lot of proactive tracking, understanding of scenes. And this is really what we're talking about up until today, John. And come ISC West, a lot of the announcements are really about moving from what we can do in a reactive sense into what we can do in a proactive sense. And I think I want to let Morten take this particular section around, VLMs and how we're now training models and that type of thing. But the real transition that we're going through and why we're all so very excited, and all of our partners last week, mind you, were so excited, is we're shifting away from that. How do we actually deploy these technologies? There's been huge cost of delivery, huge cost of ownership, huge labor requirement to get these things operating in a really efficient way. And our excitement comes from the transition and the capabilities we're delivering to market, which enables not just Milestone, but all of the partners around us to grow at the same rate.
So Morten, then perhaps if I sort of throw over to you, because Jordan was talking a bit there about BriefCam and XProtect, and, we've got that hybrid combination of AI at the edge and then video analytics built into the system. From your point of view, where does that kind of AI-enabled efficiency sit in Milestone's wider roadmap?
All over the place. And I think that is very, very important. AI is not just... AI is going to help us make complicated things simple. And I think one thing that is happening in the industry right now, and of course, as you know, John, we spoke about before, I don't have 25 years of experience in this industry, but I've tried to learn as much as I can and listen to as many partners and customers as I can. And there's no doubt in my mind that we have to introduce tools to simplify operations, to get more value out of existing equipment, and to automate some of the processes that are running if you want to create business outcomes. I think a good example is always, how is the existing cameras in a retail store that is used for reactive theft investigation now suddenly become a business value because we can plug in some AI models, then they can look at traffic flow, standing time, aisle walks, all these things that can improve the business's environments, maybe even detect individuals that are coming in that they could be perceived as, something to look at. It could be a very warm day in Australia during summer, and a person comes in with a long trench coat, right? Really making proper, tangible outcomes for these, and moving customers from or maybe even, I often hear that as well, that the security officers want to add value to the business, not just be kind of the dark room employees that monitors, and if somebody needs some video, they can provide it, right? So how do you bring the video security team or the security operations forward in business and closer to business. And I think the AI will enable that. I think AI will enable so many new use cases. And that's why for us, it's about infusing AI capabilities within the portfolio with the same user interface so that, and I will give you a good example, if I may, right? So what we have now introduced is a kind of a plain AI function called Ask Anything within BriefCam. So in principle, when you want to search for something in our analytics tool, you need to go in and tap a lot of filters, right? If you want to look for a car, it's a white car and it was this brand, or, as much as you can, because the more you can get it in, the more you can narrow it in, the better outcome, the more accuracy you will get from your search. We've introduced now a kind of a search bar in plain text to say a white car that had, brown rims and one guy sitting in the car driving eastbound. And then the AI engine will take that and contextualize that and do the search. And the accuracy you get out of it and the speed you get out of having a simple text field is so improving the operational capacity. And of course, we also thought that could be very powerful to have also in our Arcules platform so that our cloud or hybrid customers could utilize the same capabilities. So we are really looking at this, not AI for AI, but AI that creates value to our field of expertise, right? We're not trying to say that we can do more than what we can do, but we believe that within our portfolio, we have a very strong value proposition that we think our customers should look into, and we want to demonstrate that to them. And that's what we're doing as an example at MXD, but also here at ISC West in Vegas.
So, Jordan, if we were to sort of give this more of a regional context, I mean, it's interesting because we're seeing, and especially where you are, Morten, at the moment at ISC West, we're seeing a lot of hype around AI in video security. And I think whenever there's any sort of new technology being introduced to an industry, especially like AI, we very commonly fall into the trap of overestimating how long it'll take and underestimating the extent of the change that it will bring about. Jordan, what are you seeing in terms of real world here in the local region with regard to AI rollouts and adoption?
We've seen this in our real lives, our non-security lives, utilizing language model AI tools in our day-to-day lives. We've seen the acceleration of that. And I think it's really paved the way for not just us doing that in our day jobs, but also in us understanding some of the benefits used correctly, used in a more controlled way, how that can create efficiencies that, quite frankly, I don't think we've even really dreamed of yet. We obviously have a list of things we believe. A great example is one that Morten just covered. But, obviously that could be, more detailed. And AI is kind of bilateral. We can feed information to it and ask for summarization or vice versa. But, we're seeing probably not the demand for that today, but the need for it. And the need for that comes back to that number one question that you asked, which was, what are the people asking for in the market? That these many, 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 many thousands of customers using Milestone today, where are their gaps? And their gaps are in the way that they're using the system to help their businesses be better. And that could be in almost any domain. And Morten, I don't know if you want to talk about the summarization tool or anything like that, or if you'd like me to, but it kind of speaks directly back to the other side of the same coin. And that is that, we also are releasing some capability to feed some video into an engine and have that directly summarized. Now, imagine if you're an operator and you're feeding overnight video into an engine that gives you a summary of everything that happened while the previous shift was on, and are there any actionable insights or things I need to do something with? Again, our market is not demanding it, but the benefits are definitely there. And what we need to do is help guide them to a really ethically sound use or AI within the video portfolio that they currently own.
Morten, I want to move on if we can, because I want to ask you about Project Hafnia, which is, it's a pretty ambitious step toward building compliant, high-quality video data for AI training. Why is trusted, compliant data so important in accelerating AI adoption?
Yeah, this is a very interesting, and probably, John, we could do a whole, and maybe we should, do a whole series or whole session on that topic, because I actually think this is something that is going to be quite spoken about, maybe a little bit further ahead. Milestone's journey is, of course, the fact that we have had a pretty good understanding of what video is and how video is doing. And if you look at the the LLMs today, and where we use them every day, the next kind of next step of that is kind of the video part, which is the VLM. When it comes to the VLM, you are challenged with multiple factors. One of them, are you sourcing your data and own your data? Are you sourcing it in an ethical way? Are you able to free it from bias and anonymize the data so that personal information is deleted? And then train the models on that. And I think this becomes really critical, especially when we talk to, public. If you want to use AI, you better have an AI model that is trained on data that is legally obtained, that has data lineage and are coming from trusted sources, right? And so we have seen a very big demand on that, and I think Milestone is truly leading the way. Probably right now, one of the very few who can do this. And with our video expertise, we can really deliver a strong. Of course, we are working with partners like NVIDIA, as you saw in the press release, right? And other partners to make sure that we have the best of the best, right? And probably it's also fair to say that we are in the early beginning of that journey of Hafnia. But I think it is a very interesting field, and I think it will have a lot of influence on how customers are consuming video and using AI, and they will be question marked on how is this video, or also how is this AI model trained on what data. And that is what Milestone can deliver. And actually, the Hafnia vision that grew from within, right, from our own development teams, was one of the reasons why we looked at brighter AI, because we were clearly understanding that if you want to use a compliant data set to train your models in, you need to have a very advanced anonymization tool that can go in and not just blur everything, because how do you then train on facial expressions, but actually go in and do what they call DNAT, right? Do that deeper anonymization of changing the faces in a way that it cannot be tracked or traced to a personal identifiable let's say asset, right? So I think there's so many things, and we have some very, very smart people doing it that, John, I also would love for you and your audience to be having a session with. I think this will really be a kind of a mind-blowing thing for us who is in the security industry, of what is ahead of us and what is next. But it is something that is in a constant development and is moving very, very fast in this environment.
Yeah. Well, I'm mindful of the fact that we're sort of running low on time, so I want to sort of skip to one of the last things I want to try and cover off, and I'll stick with you, Morten, for this one. Yeah, Milestone has long championed, and anyone watching this who's familiar with Milestone will know that Milestone has long championed an open platform approach. So in your opinion, how critical is the partner ecosystem to Milestone's model today?
Extremely critical. And I am extremely committed to the partner ecosystem. I believe the open platform is the power of all of us together serving our customers. It's not only a power for Milestone. I think customers who embark on an open platform have the choice of selecting what they need for their business. And our job in Milestone is to make sure that these APIs and development kits are available so that those tech partners can write to it, or the customers can even develop applications towards the platform. This is the whole vision around the App Center that we are launching here at ISC West, where we are building a whole new platform where we make it extremely easy for customers to go in and select a partner application, try it out, download it. If you don't like it, few clicks, it installs on your Expertech engine. Few clicks. If you don't like it, you can deinstall it. If you like it, there's a commercial value between the customer and our partner. Milestone only connects the dots and creates the platform and security of ease of installation and security. So I think we are really doubling down on open platform, and we are really doubling down on our partner ecosystem, which I also confirmed to my Australian and New Zealand audience when we were at the Port Douglas last week. And Jordan can, of course, give his impression. But from a global perspective, this is what I think will bring Milestone and our partners to be the right recipe for customers. They don't want to be locked in, John. They want a choice. They want to have a flexibility, and they want to know that the journey that they embark on is a journey that lasts for a long time because they can develop with it.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, this is something that you and I have had multiple conversations about over the years, and I know you've been championing the open platform sort of multi-partner system for a long time. So in your view, how are partners helping deliver value on the ground here in the APAC and ANZ region?
Okay, so last week in Port Douglas, we had many technology partners with us. And the thing that stands out when you look around that room, we had 3 different camera vendors that had very, very unique technical offerings that delivered different outcomes to customers. We had cloud storage providers, hardware vendors. We had 3 different access control partners with us as well. The interesting thing about this is they all had offerings that had specialties in unique places. The value that they bring to our customers is always ensuring that together with Milestone, our resellers, our end users can make selections that is fit for purpose for them today, and it may evolve. And it's the acceptance of that evolution, that we know that things don't stay the same forever, but that technology partner will grow with it. We will grow with it. We will develop continually within our capabilities, as you've heard a little bit about today around, Brighter AI and Hafnia and BriefCam and Arcules and hybrid and cloud capabilities. They're also growing and developing. And our core focus is ensuring that there is a platform that's always fit for purpose for people to grow beyond, to continue to attach the required security components and or data components that are going to support their business needs. And this is the thing that we simply cannot do alone. And it will be a big part of our DNA for many years to come, simply because we believe wholeheartedly that crowdsourcing's capability always exceeds a singular organization trying to develop everything themselves.
Okay. In that vein, I want to ask, and this is the last question, we'll round it out with this, but I want to ask you, Jordan, based on what you just said, which sectors in ANZ are you seeing that are currently driving the strongest growth and demand, and what use cases are emerging beyond traditional security?
Yeah. When we talk a little bit about really exciting things, a lot of that's in public space. We have a new case study that's being released with Parramatta City Council, and it's really amazing to see the business challenges that they were facing and the way that the portfolio of product solved independent challenges, and quite often it was a slight variation on the previous. The fact that we had the ability to continually adapt technology, whether it be through our technology partner in that case, in the access control domain, our camera partner vendors providing some edge analytic in smaller spaces, obviously Arcules delivering some of that hybrid approach in the community environments for booking systems and these types of things. Not to mention the holistic video or cityscape that was being covered by Edge Protect. It's that capability that creates the excitement. I think in the same case study, we also had some public anonymization requirements where Brighter AI really covered those things off as well. And as we continue to evolve, these will become more and more seamless, more and more singular interface, which is going to continue to provide value back to that same customer. But that answers probably the exciting side question. In terms of the sectors that we're seeing enormous adoption, some of them are legacy, law enforcement, education, retail environments, particularly in large shopping centers, but quite often they tie back into that public domain, and they tie back into the OH&S elements within that domain, and more importantly, how we're protecting assets, people. The great and exciting part of all of this is the evolution into the use of data to create efficiency, whether it be in live management, whether it be in crowd management, whether it be in anything like that. And when we look at things like Hafnia, obviously the super exciting stuff really begins to emerge, particularly around traffic management, light control, public transport management, and then what do we need to be running at any given time to have the right flow of operations through a city or space. So a lot of these things tie back to the same common theme, and it's quite commonly the theme of a lot of people, right? When we're managing a lot of people, a lot of things, a lot of assets that are moving in and around spaces. So, I can't really say there's a specific sector, but that is the commonality that we're seeing huge adoption around.
So, Morten, let's finish off by coming back to you. Do those same sorts of patterns and trends that Jordan was just talking about align with what Milestone is seeing internationally?
Yeah, I think to not repeat what Jordan said, because I think that actually had a lot of value. I think actually the general world do actually see the same thing as Jordan just mentioned, right? And I think our job as Milestone is to make that simple to actually consume, buy, operate, run, own, and renew. Right. So I think I really believe that we are starting on the next level open platform at its core, where customers are going to be much more focused on getting business outcomes than having kind of basic needs. Basic needs will be the foundation. The operating system will be simple and robust and secure and scalable and enterprise grade. And all the applications you load on top will be the commercial value for the partners to engage and continue to provide superior innovation that we as Milestone would never be able to do. We always give our customers the choice. We always provide our partners that link into our system so that they can develop and create value for our joint customers. And I see them as joint. I don't see them as milestone customers. I think our ecosystem would benefit that we work together. And I think that's the power of open platform.
Well, thank you both very much for taking the time to chat to us today. It's been a great discussion, and I look forward to seeing what Milestone does over the next 12 months. It sounds like there's lots and lots of exciting stuff coming out, and I would appreciate the opportunity at some future stage to take a deeper dive into Hafnia, because I think there's going to be some really interesting stuff going on there. But both of you stay safe. Thank you very much again for your time. And ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, we look forward to speaking to you again. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you on Security Solutions TV. Thank you.